Good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, time ran away from me then. Nearly forgot all about this. No, not really. I didn't forget. It's just that all of a sudden it was 5 to 10 and then it was 5 past 10. But welcome to another daily creativity. This time I'm looking at a tool for stamps. Why? Because although May was National Scrapbooking Month, June is not National Anything Month, but Close to My Heart do have a massive sale on stamps. And I was going to show you a technique, one of these techniques, but I couldn't find my stamp. And now, looking just across the table, bingo ringo, there's my stamp, but I'm not set up for it. So I'm going to share with you some information about Stamp Shammy. Now, this is an essential tool, I would say, when you have a stamp, any stamp, doesn't matter if it's a Close to My Heart stamp or any brand of stamp. This is a brand new one, and look how lush and blue this is. It's such a beautiful color blue, and it's really soft and squishy. Now, when you get yours, it may not be like this, so it may not be flexible, and that's okay. When you open the packet up, which I'm going to do, when you open the packet up, you will find that in this pack, you actually get 2 Stamp Shammies. So 2 for the price of 1? No, not quite. You pay $20 for the Stamp Shammies, and there are 2 in there. Now, as I mentioned, if yours is a little bit stiff when you get it, that's okay, because you just need to give it a little bit of a rinse under some water. Warm, cold, doesn't really matter. And that will be ready to go. So the Stamp Shammy does dry out. And I'll show you mine. So this is a used one, and you can see it's actually folded and then it's dried. So it's quite stiff. Now, it's really important for you to know that if your Stamp Shammy has dried like this, don't try and force it open. It is likely to crack. The best thing to do is just to wet it with some water, and you can do that a number of ways. You can either put it in a container like so and then tip water onto it. I often have a bottle of water that I'm drinking and I'll just tip some water onto it. Or you can get a Spritz. So when I can find my Spritz bottle, I also have a Spritz bottle lying around somewhere. And as long as the nozzle is pointing in the right spot, I can just spritz this with water, and I can show you. This will just absorb the water, and then it will open up. When it's completely wet, it will open up flat. So don't try and force your chamois. Best to leave it to dry out. If you leave it where it's wet all the time, so if you do put it in a container such as this one, and you put a lid on it and seal it, or if you put it back in a Ziploc bag and seal it, it may go smelly. It may go moldy depending on what else is on there, but it most probably likely definitely will go very smelly. So there's another tip with your Stamp Shammy. Now, to use your Stamp Shammy, it's most important that you do use it when it's wet. There's no point using it when it's dry, because it's not really designed for that. So what I like to do is wet it, put it in a container like this where it's nice and flat, and then once I've finished stamping, I can just grab my stamp, which I don't have one on a block, which is amazing for me. Normally I have them lying around everywhere. But imagine this is on a block. And then once I have stamped off, so I've taken as much ink off as I can on a scratch piece of paper, I then simply either stamp onto my Stamp Shammy or I wipe onto my Stamp Shammy. So that is as easy as it gets, and that will clean your stamp off. Now you can see with this one I have used it and it's got just a little bit of staining on it, very, very mild. That's okay, that won't affect the integrity of your stamp. I'll show you another one that I've got that's even more stained, this one here. And again, if I were to stamp that into, say, a light color like lemonade, yellow, that's not going to come out as yellow, red or orange or anything. It's just that the actual stamp, so the photopolymer stamp, has been stained. But if I clean it in this once I've used it, it will then maintain and stay nice and clean. Pop it back on my carrier sheet and it's ready to go. So that is just about everything when it comes to a Stamp Shammy. It does get dirty, and that's okay. This one I have actually rinsed this morning, and for some reason it tends to come out green. I don't know why, and it's not like I use a lot of green. But this is all staining. and it doesn't come off on your stamp. If you're finding that when you're cleaning your stamp with your Stamp Shammy, if you're finding that there's dirty water coming onto your stamp, just go and rinse this, rinse and squeeze under some water until it rinses clean, and then come back and use it. It's great that they do have 2 in a pack, because it means that you've always got a spare one. You might want one fairly dry to dry it off, and then one nice and wet to wash it, whatever you like. Good morning to Karen, who was watching, and good morning, Rhonda. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that this has helped you with something. You can grab a Stamp Shammy on your maker's website. They are fantastic, very, very essential for stamping. So that's what I'm sharing this day, this month, week, this day. As I said, I was hoping to share with you a couple of techniques, but I couldn't find my stamp until just now. So tune in tomorrow to see some background techniques. But for now, stay safe, keep crafting, and bye-bye.